Hello and welcome to episode 70 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Hello.
And I'm also joined by Drummer Matt. Say hello.
Hello.
There we go. I just wanted to add a little bit of suspense in case maybe you...
I'm very glad because I was yawning while you were doing it. I was panicking. I was like, no, she's going to say it. I need to do it. And I couldn't.
See,
you can't stop yawning. So
I mean, you can, but it just sounds fucking strange. You sound like a dog yawning, I guess, because dogs always make noises when they yawn.
Okay, we're less than a minute in, and already, you know.
Yeah. This is content, my good bitch.
How are you, Snipe?
I'm okay. Had a bit of a rough week, but it's okay because I'm hanging out with my besties here. My besties with the testes.
Please don't ever say that again. Matthew, how are you? I know it may be difficult to answer after that statement, but
yeah, I'm better. I feel valued.
Good.
We value you and your testicles, Drummer Matt.
Good. How are you, Wib?
I am all right. I'm all right.
That's all we ask.
So I've got a couple of general topics to cover. First off, we've all seen Spider-Man Enter the Spiderverse now.
Yes.
And I thought maybe we could have a little spoiler-free kind of conversation about that.
Okay, I've got one big statement to put up front. You know, This might be controversial. Spider-Man Enter the Spiderverse is a very good, very pretty movie.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's ball-aching.
I pretend that was controversial, but it's just great.
It's so good.
You know what I was most surprised about? Because, I mean, the content of the movie, I was prepared for liking it because I'd seen a lot of people talk about it. But the thing that I was really surprised about is when I saw trailers of it, I thought the slightly odd frame rate thing would be really distracting. But I got so used to it after like 30 seconds of watching it.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, what's the slightly odd frame rate thing?
All the characters move at like quite low frames, like 14 frames a second or something.
It moves at closer to the frame rate for traditional animation than 3D animation.
I honestly didn't. I was just blown away by everything else. I just didn't even notice. Which I guess is a good sign, right?
That's the thing. I remember noticing it and going, "Oh, that's kind of strange." It's like a stylistic thing. But then you watch the movie and you just
forget about it pretty much instantly.
And it's good. I don't know.
I came out of it, and the only way I could think to describe it, I was thinking, how can I describe this in the podcast? Especially because I think when I saw it, either you hadn't seen it, or I didn't realise you had anyway. Yeah, I was like, how can I describe it to them without like giving too much of the story away or whatever? I was like, it kind of feels like you're motorboating a comic book. Like, you get a big, colourful, a good comic book, and then get, like, right face up into it, so it takes up, like, your whole thing, and then you move your head back and forth, so it's all, like, flashing, and it's all... Yeah, I don't know, it's... Yeah, that was the only way I could think to describe it.
Yeah,
it is probably, I would say, it is possibly the best comic book film I've seen. And I don't mean necessarily film based on a comic book, but I mean actual comic book film. Like, it feels like you're reading a comic book, but... in film form.
Yeah. You mean like what the Ang Lee Hulk tried to do and failed?
Yeah. Drummer Matt can't even remember.
I don't even want to talk about that.
That's fair.
But you know, I'm not saying it's necessarily, or it probably is, but I'm not saying it's necessarily better than like any of the given Marvel films or whatever. But as a film that's trying to be a comic book, it does so well.
I think it not only was very successful in that, but as a movie, I think it was an incredibly fun experience. It didn't overdo certain comic relief characters, which could have very easily been intolerable.
Spider-Ham could have been really bad in the wrong hands, but they did a really good job.
Somehow it kind of worked, and it was fine, and it didn't... Yeah.
It worked though, and it was good. Also, I like it how it referenced the old like creepy emo like Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3.
And then it was like, but don't talk about that. Let's move on.
This also happened, but we don't talk about this for some reason. And I'm like, yeah, boy.
But yeah, I also really liked because I have not read a Spider-Man comic in many a year, but I've always loved Spider-Gwen's design.
Spider-Gwen's design is amazing.
I fucking love Spider-Gwen's design, but I've never got round to actually reading any of the comics she's in, so I'm very grateful to the movie for giving me something that has Spider-Gwen in it, and I can go, oh yeah, Spider-Gwen's pretty cool, isn't she?
She's pretty
and I don't have to go out and read a million comic books, so I'm happy.
The only thing you have to know is that Greg Land drew for a run.
Oh,
It was gross. He has no idea how to draw hoods. Or women. Or draw.
That's fair. Although we didn't get to see my absolute favourite version of Spider-Gwen, which is Gwenum.
Gwenum is amazing.
Mostly because I just find the term Gwenum to be far too amusing.
Did you guys notice that in the trailers she refers to herself as Spider-Gwen, but in the movie she calls herself Spider-Woman?
Yeah.
Was that just like name recognition or something?
I think that's because everyone knows.
Because Spider-Woman is a known quantity.
And yeah, she can't exactly call herself Spider-Gwen in universe. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it just kind of, I was like, okay, yeah.
That's like Spider-Man being called Spider-Peter.
Spider Parker,
Spider
Pete. Ridiculous.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and any sort of criticisms of it are like so minor and so just like, how can I put this? They're just when you sit there and you go, okay, if I had to think of things that were flaws about it, and I was thinking about it objectively, like I've seen some people say that some of the villains are a little bit wasted.
I'd say that there's a couple of them that are, but
like some of the Kingpin's henchmen that are really just there as background characters, and they could be literally any villain. So they're not really utilised, but the story's not about them. So
so it doesn't matter, really.
Yeah.
Also, I was actually incredibly surprised with how much feels go on in this movie. Like, in the first, like, there's a thing that happens in maybe the first, like, 15 minutes that had me fucking, like, welling up. I was just like, no, oh my god, I just could not fucking cope. And there's, like, multiple things that are just so real emotionally, and it was incredibly well done. And I'm just like, fuck you for making me feel things. Feelings are dumb.
I mean, it is, I think, without getting into spoiler territory, I can't really say much, although visuals, fucking visuals.
That where he jumps off the building and everything's upside down was fucking perfect.
It's a good shot.
And just the general aesthetic of how everything's so bright and colourful, and it's just like that's what they wanted Suicide Squad to be, but then they realised they couldn't achieve that in less than 2 months after reshooting gargantuan amounts because Deadpool was successful and they took everything way too fucking seriously. But, you know.
Yeah. But
no, I can't.
Good,
if anyone's
good.
kind of on the fence about seeing it, I can recommend it.
Oh, yeah,
It's
entirely.
beautiful.
I mean, we really just are adding to the choir here to say that it's a good movie.
Yeah, but I think it's still... I did, because I'd heard it was good, but I didn't realise quite how good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
So-
I mean, I don't know how... Because I literally have been collecting comics for a very, very long time, so I know a lot about comic books and comic book characters, so I don't know how this would be to view for someone who maybe isn't very much into the comic book scene.
I don't think I've ever read a Spider-Man comic.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking, it's probably quite good because it's quite standalone. It does reference the old Spider-Man movies, but not in a way that you need to know what's going on. It just sums everything up for you immediately and very well. So I think even if you're not really a comic book fan, you'll enjoy this.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Obviously, there's the big generic villains that we used to, like Kingpin and Green Goblin and things being there. But apart from that, a lot of the stuff is relatively new. Like Miles Morales as Spider-Man is a new thing. I say relatively new.
Yeah.
As in, it's been in the last 10 years or so, like that, and Spider-Gwen as well. And things like Spider-Ham aren't necessarily well known outside of comic book circles.
Yeah. And Spider-Man Noir just really isn't either.
Yeah.
Also, amazing voice cast choice.
Nick Cage is fantastic.
He
But
was
I
amazing.
didn't realise it was him, though, until the credits. I was like, holy shit, what?
Because he's quite restrained and has a good script.
He actually does, like, a general good job, not just a Nick Cage being great.
Yeah. Although
that's a different thing.
Oh, hey, have you heard? Nick Cage is going to be in an adaptation of Colour Out of Space.
I did see something about that,
Yeah. Sorry, I just thought I'd mention that. That came out earlier today.
That's pretty crazy.
The H.P. Lovecraft story, if you're not familiar.
Oh, okay.
Color Out of Space is an interesting story. I wouldn't say it's one of his best, but I would not say it's not a good story. It's just it's interesting.
But yeah, I was saying like quite a lot of the stuff is relatively modern, and so I'm not familiar with it because I'm sort of more familiar with a bit older Spider-Man. Sort of 90s, early 2000s era is where my knowledge sort of comes from, and it's not that
Well, you
great.
remember when Spider-Man had a mech?
What, Leopardon?
Yeah.
The old, yeah. That's. There are two Spider-Men that I do wish would come, should appear in the next Spider-Verse movie. One of those is Japanese Sentai Spider-Man with his mech Leopardon, and the other one is Spiders-Man, who is
Spiders-Man is amazing.
Who is Spider-Man but made of lots of spiders who might eat people.
And they
Did they all get bitten by a radioactive human?
Maybe.
I can't remember.
Maybe Peter Parker sneezed on one of them or something. But yeah, no.
But yeah, no. My knowledge of Spider-Man is not current, so I found it incredibly easy to follow. There was nothing that was difficult to follow. I think it did a really good job of the things that it brought up that were more obscure comic book knowledge were there more as Easter eggs for fans than as plot points. So
yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, no, can recommend.
Very looking forward to that coming out on Duvd.
Yes. I need that on Blu-ray yesterday. Oh, so beautiful.
What do we feel about there being a sequel?
I would be happy not having one
because it's already
that was so well done.
Because it's already been greenlit. So
yeah, I don't know how they could top it, but
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
I will say, because I really liked Spider-Man: Homecoming as well.
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
Tom Holland is his name, isn't it?
Yep.
The actor that plays him. I really
Looks
like
he's
him.
Smuggling frogs.
He does have a smuggling frog face, yeah. And that is by no means a slight.
No,
I love him as Spider-Man.
He's a great Spider-Man.
But I really enjoyed that movie. I think he makes a fantastic Peter Parker, and I just find it kind of surreal that we not only have now two concurrent Spider-Man movie series going on at the same time.
Spidered Men.
We have two Spidered Men's, and both of them, the first movie of both of them was really fucking strong. Were both really good, which I can't really think of any other time when there's been two attempts at what is fundamentally kind of the same series, and they're both great.
But for different reasons. There's not we've got one, we don't need the other.
They're both very different takes on Spider-Man. And yeah, good.
It's good.
Happy. Saw it. Made me do a smile on my face.
Made me giddy happy.
Yes.
So, the Stan Lee cameo, did it make you guys cry as well?
It was a bit.
Because that made me fucking
very
cry.
Yeah.
Oh, I cried. It was so embarrassing. I was bawling in the fucking theatre. But no.
It was nice. 'Cause it was nice to see him one last time.
It was in such a good movie. As well.
Yeah.
It wasn't Fantastic Four or something. It was his last fucking movie.
Is that the last one, or I thought there was one more that he did or something?
I don't know if he's going to be in one more. I
can't remember. I'm sure when he died there was going to be 3 films that he was going to appear in.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, regardless,
that's the first
citation needed.
Yeah, but that is the first Marvel film I've seen since his passing, so it made me a mess.
And it
was he was such a huge part of my fucking childhood.
Also, it was a bit on the nose as well, considering
considering the context in which he appears.
So yeah, that was some feels, but
yeah, we should probably move on.
Yeah. Speaking of feels.
Yes.
Speaking of feels, we should probably bring up the thing that happened. By the time you listen to this, it won't have been the weekend just gone, but it was the weekend before.
Yeah.
You might not have heard of it because it's not been everywhere.
Yeah.
But a YouTuber, called H-bomberguy.
Fantastic videos, check him out.
Did a stream playing through the entirety of Donkey Kong 64, a not particularly good video game. to raise money for the charity Mermaids, which is a UK charity that supports transgender kids and like offers education for their families and support for the families and stuff.
Really good charity.
Good charity because they had their funding cut due to a massive transphobe.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And so he chose to try to do this thing for charity, and it ended up raising $340,000.
In like about rounding up about 60 hours.
Yeah, I think it was 57 odd hours it took him to beat the game.
We caught it pretty early on, but like the thing is because we are fans of H-bomberguy's channel anyway. So we knew this was happening, and we were like, yeah, we'll tune in. Just thinking it's going to be... You've seen other streamers do Twitch charity streams and stuff like that. You know, you don't expect it to explode like this stream did. In the first, 15 minutes, he met his goal pretty much from just one donation.
Yeah.
Because I think the initial was $500, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
which is a little bit under what he made in the end.
The next 60-odd hours were just a progression of, well, I guess I'll make a new target and then smashing it.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to fucking witness. It was so awesome.
Just such a huge outpouring of support, and loads of people joined in on the stream. I think it was over 100 people in the end.
There was so many guests that were on, and because he'd go to sleep for he'd go have a nap because obviously he didn't stay up for 60 hours, he'd probably be dead.
Yeah.
And so he'd just leave his Discord on and people would be chatting.
The skeleton crew, as they were named.
Crew, the teeth crew. Had a lot of different... Teeth gang. Yep.
But yeah, it was, and yeah, there was so many people. There was, lots of other YouTubers of and that he knows, and it gradually kind of spiraled out, and it really just became a platform for really boosting trans voices talking about their experiences.
Yeah.
And the
Had a lot of trans YouTubers on.
Yeah, loads of trans YouTubers, loads of people who off Twitter, trans artists and things.
Yeah.
Just giving kind of a big signal boost, really, and
this beautiful sense of, without sounding too cringy, this beautiful sense of kind of community.
Yeah, really did.
It was just the world. Let's all be honest, has been fucking shit. It's been pretty fucking dreadful, and it's just been getting worse. And to see something like that where he could barely set goals quick enough before people were donating enough money to smash those goals, and having people have their voices heard, and just this massive outcry of supporting trans people, it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So genuinely beautiful to see.
Yeah, it was. Because I saw a few bits here and there because I had loads of stuff to do over the weekend. So I caught it where I could. But I did end up not sleeping super great. So I woke up really early, and it meant that I saw the last 3 or 4 hours of the playthrough.
No, I had to go to bed a few hours before that because I literally stayed up until 4 a.m. just bleary-eyed I just want to hang out more, and I couldn't because I was so tired.
So I got to see the end of it and see the what they reached at the end, and a little bit of a victory lap at the end where loads of people came back to sort of talk about it. And honestly, it was really, really nice to see something, because it's one of the few times on the internet that I have seen something that left me with a feeling of hope for the future. Not to get super serious about it or anything, but seeing people come out in solidarity for each other, and it was just really beautiful to see, and it made me very happy to see, and I am sure it is going to make a material difference to a lot of people.
Donkey Kong is trans culture.
Yeah.
Did he actually finish the game in the end?
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what heralded the end of it. He was going to play it until he beat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's, bearing in mind, I think the fastest speed runs of it are still over 20 hours or something. So
well, he's he's 64th in the world, apparently. he actually did post a tweet going, "We did it!"
I think that was
64.
honestly, I think that was fake because he did cheat through a few bits.
I don't care.
So it would not be
Well,
allowed.
then that would be a. I can't remember the name, but there's like legit runs where you don't exploit, and then there's exploit runs. So he's...
Oh, it wasn't an exploit; it was save state. So
Okay,
I
then,
think
yeah,
that's
very
disallowed
true.
on every speedrun, as far as I'm aware.
He's still 64th in my heart.
Yeah. Did you catch any of it, Matt?
Yeah, I saw a couple of hours around the 20-something hour mark, and then I actually watched the last couple of hours. I actually watched back and watched the archive just for the last couple of hours, so you can kind of hear, like you said, like the victory lap type kind of everyone coming on and doing a bit quick chat.
Yeah.
So I went back and watched that after I'd woken up, whenever day that was, Monday or whatever it was at this point.
Yeah, I think it was Monday. Yeah. But yeah, it was.
Some say he's still sleeping till this day.
Fucker deserves it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he looked broken by the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
But like in a good way, like emotionally broken, but like positively somehow.
Emotionally exhausted from doing an awesome thing. Yeah.
So,
I think he deserves to go get like a kilogram bag of Twizzlers and just fucking veg. That poor boy.
But yeah, it was lovely to see such an outpouring and such a positive thing as
Absolutely.
well. And because if there is any misunderstanding about where Snipe and Wib play Inc. as an entity,
In case you didn't get it by now,
trans rights are human rights.
trans rights.
And fuck Gray Linehan.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. But also, thank you to him, because thanks to him trying
thanks,
to
Graham.
defund mermaids, you ended up raising more money for them than they could have hoped.
I saw on Reddit there's a subreddit called Out of the Loop. And somebody posted on there which made me literally giggle with glee. It was like, what's all this about Donkey Kong and hashtag thanks Graham? And I just fucking lost my shit. And it was really nice to see like people going, oh yeah, basically explaining what it was.
Yeah.
And then people responding with, fucking nice, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, fuck Graham Linehan, what a prick.
Yeah. But
Anyway.
we should probably get on to what we've done.
I ate 2 croissants this morning at like 4 a.m.
Good work.
Thank you. They're a bit old, but they're nowhere near as tasty as the ones Grandma Matt brought us from France, because Jesus Christ, that was a religious experience. But yeah, like, as does home brand do me fine. I was like, yeah, I'll just have that. I'll play some Sims, because I couldn't sleep. Thank you for listening to the MisanthroPod. So, Wib, what have you been up to? You're sitting there looking at me like you wish you could strangle me, but you know that you couldn't because my neck muscles are too strong.
I mean,
I just break your fingers and you'd be like, oh, my fingers are broken, how embarrassing.
I'm going to talk about some things now.
Please, anything to shut me up.
So, first off, by the time you listen to this, a video on my side channel will have gone live.
Yes,
Ooh,
I've
nice.
seen it. It's good.
Because this year, at the end of each month, or around the end of each month, because we've got some stuff to do at the end, so I've sort of recorded it a little bit earlier, I'm going to be putting up a video basically cataloguing what miniatures I've painted throughout the year.
Yeah, cool.
Because I find the only way to make me do things is to shame myself online.
Okay, are you like into this as well?
Apparently so. Apparently this is just my kink.
Okay.
It's the only way to motivate me anymore, it seems. So I'm
Should I
basically
get you like a horse whip or something? Like a riding crop, so you can just like smack yourself on the Werner every time you want to paint a model. And you'll be like, oh, I'm so naughty. I'm painting Imperial Guard from 20 years ago. Ooh.
It sounds more like I should slap it when I'm not painting, really.
Well, I mean, I don't know your kink. I'm trying to relate to you on this level.
But anyway, it's just I'm going to put one of these up each a month. I'm only aiming to paint like 52 models in the whole year, which isn't that much.
Well, it's like average is about 1 a week, which I think is And considering how slowly I paint, that is astronomically fascinating.
Yeah, I paint very slowly, and I painted in total, I think it was 15 models last year, just to give 17 if you count a couple of Gaslands cars. So just for frame of reference of how slow I paint. So painting one a week is quite a big thing for me. I'm ramping up my production vastly. I have already painted 5.
I'm really impressed with you because it's not even the end of January and you've already done one above the Call of Duty.
So I'm posting a video basically going through what I've painted at the end of each month. I don't know if those videos will be entertaining for other people. I hope they are.
I mean, I think they're entertaining, but just because I can sit there and just go, God, I suck. I wish I could paint like that. And then I just don't paint.
And you can totally paint just fine.
Yeah, I can paint fine.
You are a good painter.
Take the compliment.
You should have yes. Don't compliment people by diminishing yourself.
Okay, that's really bullshit. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was kind of like trying to play up the self-deprecating humor, but thank you for pointing that out. You made it 10 times funnier now.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cancel.
Anyway, that video is going to be up on my side channel, Wib Does Stuff. There will be 11 more going up this year, so if you enjoy it, go over there and give me a subscribe.
Sub to Daddy Wib.
Ring that bell.
You don't have to ring the bell because I don't even know what it fucking does.
What it does is it sets up post notifications, so anytime you post a YouTube video, someone gets directly notified. Because the feed is so terrible, they have to have a button that literally does what the feed should be doing.
I mean, to be fair, like yesterday, it wasn't
Yesterday
it wasn't when
shit.
people were posting videos. It wasn't even posting it on their page or in your sub boxes.
Yeah,
because both Michael and Remlays had problems with that.
So ring that bell, like, comment, subscribe for more sexy miniature boys.
So that'll be up. Also, I have played a video game. I have been playing a bit of the original Watch Dogs.
How many dogs have you watched so far?
I have not seen a single dog.
What the fuck? Really?
If that was the game, if you just got to watch dog videos,
That'd be all right.
I mean, to be fair, I play that game every day.
It's called Nintendogs. You can literally go buy it.
Or I could just go buy a dog. I mean, I can't because we're in a flat and we can't. But
you could just watch dog videos on YouTube as well.
Yeah, I do that.
That works as well. But anyway, I've been playing.
Gifts.
I've been playing through Watch Dogs. Played it for a video. Carried on playing from that save because I've been looking for a game just to kind of idly play. And a big sandbox game is usually good for that. And I can say conclusively after, I don't know how long I've been playing it for, maybe like 7 hours or something, that Watch Dogs 1 is the most okay game
Oh, cool. World's okayest game.
I've played in a long time. So okay that I've beaten the first act of it and I'm not sure I'm even going to go back to it. Not because it's bad, because there's like so many elements of it that are genuinely really cool. There's the whole hacking element to it that is really cool. Like, you know, you enter an area and you hack into a camera which leads you to a place so you can see the rest of the area better, which might lead you to another camera which can then hack that camera, and then you might get to things that you can set to explode and, you know, take people out, and so you can then stealth your way through, picking people off gradually, some through hacking abilities, some through, you know, you distracting them by, like, hacking into their phone. Like, my favourite one was where there was a guy who had, because when you highlight people, it says, you know, a fact about them.
I actually really like that part. It's like, oh, this person is like, they post like feet pics online as a secondary source of income.
Yeah,
so it's just like little things like that. We're like, that's really interesting.
But this one had a thing where it said, oh, they have been banned from the zoo.
What, for jerking it in front of a lemur or something?
I can't remember the exact wording, but that was the implication, basically, yeah. And
have been banned from the local zoo for sexual indecency.
The distract thing for that guy was you sent him a text message that said, so I've been seeing you around the zoo recently.
And he's like, oh shit.
And then I shot him in the head. So the last thing that was in that person's brain
was thinking about them slutty lemurs.
was thinking about how they're banned from the zoo for jacking off at the giraffes or whatever. So that's the thing. And like those elements, like this stuff is like fun and interesting, but the story is so boring.
Well, isn't it like Aiden Pierce suffers from generic man pain TM and
I just don't care.
You don't even remember?
I can't. I there's something.
Is it like a family member of his is dead, so now he has to go on a holy crusade for some fucking reason?
But there's just something so bland about so much of it that means that all these really cool ideas. The hat is not iconic. I'm not even wearing the iconic hat right now.
You're doing it a great disservice. That's literally half the game's charm, apparently.
I should probably just go and play the second one, because the second one...
the second one is, aesthetically, is fucking astounding.
From what I see, it has a lot more fun about it, because there's a lot of elements of it that feel like they belong in a different game. Like when you go past billboards, you can put a message up on the billboard, and nearly all of them are memes from like 6 years ago.
Oh no.
So...
It's like long cat is long.
I haven't seen that, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was one of them.
That was just an educated guess.
And so they're kind of... It's very dated, but Aiden is such a boring, gruff character that you can't see him having fun with any of this stuff. It doesn't really correlate. So I understand why in the second one they went for a much more colourful, bright, energetic kind of style. And I do want to play that one because that looks like that would be way more up my alley, because there's the mechanics of the game are really interesting, but they're just buried behind this kind of grim,
kind of generic storyline.
Yeah.
I mean, just from seeing you play it, like there is such a capacity for mayhem.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you make it so grimdark serious when you're literally like, he's like, they took my niece away. I can't has cheeseburger. I'll put that on the billboard. I smell the generic agony.
Yeah, that stuff
it's
just
what?
doesn't really flow super well.
Seems like maybe there's a bit of a disconnect there.
There is a bit, but I mean, I'm pretty sure we got it free, like on Uplay at some point.
I think we did.
And it's like I say, it's fine. There's nothing. There is nothing wrong with it, but it's just I struggle to find anything that keeps me wanting to play it. You know.
Would you say that the mechanics feel like more of a proof of concept than a fully fledged video game?
Not really, no. I wouldn't say so. It does feel like it is this complete thing, and you might like it a lot more than a lot of other sandbox games because there's a heavy stealth element to it. Because
I do like me some stealth.
Yeah, most areas you can't just straight up fight your way out. You have to distract and stealth your way around things. Like a recent mission I did was I had to sneak into and out of a prison.
Cool.
Just to
How hard
screw
could that be?
Well, the whole thing is it's like a super computerized prison, so this super hacker is able to do it. And it should be mentioned that Aidan Pierce's hacking powers are just magic in this game. They're not hacking, they're just magic. Yeah, he is a technology wizard.
he's a techno wizard.
Technomancer is what he is. Yeah. So yeah,
he's like what your mum thinks the internet.
Yeah, he is.
He's what your mum thinks a hacker is.
Yeah, exactly.
The hacker
That's why there's old memes in it.
That's why there's old memes in it. Like, hey guys, remember that dancing baby from Ally McBeal?
Don't even.
I'm glad that some people in the last podcast were like, I remember the baby.
Well, I remember that, and I wish that you die of like horrible blood loss for reminding me. Like,
but anyway, so Watch Dogs is completely fine, but it struggles to find a reason to play it when there's so many other sandbox games around there.
I have to look into getting the second one. I can imagine that's a hell of a lot more fun. Because it just seems so much more self-aware of its mechanics are fun, and it wants you to have fun.
Yeah. But moving on, it's time for me to do that thing that I do periodically and talk about Star Trek.
I'm glad. I was kind of hoping you'd let me guess, because it would have all been penis-related.
I'm pretty sure there wasn't a penis in it.
I mean, presumably there's at least one.
No, there's no visible penis.
Oh, okay.
Should quickly mention that the short treks that I was complaining about not being available in the UK in the last podcast, the day before the Series 2 of Discovery went live, they went up on Netflix. They're in the trailers section.
I really wanted to get onto the YouTube comment to be like, well, actually, they're on Netflix now.
Oh, no. But you fucking start with a well, actually.
Yeah.
I really wanted to, but I resisted at the last minute.
So you can legally watch them. Again, I recommend the second and fourth episodes
Calypso?
are the best one. Calypso and, I can't remember what the last one was called. Escape Artist, I think. I can recommend those. But first episode of Discovery, Season 2 has gone live, and I have watched it.
Oh, good.
And it was interesting to go into because I have mellowed vastly on Star Trek Discovery since watching the first season, and this is nothing to do with the series getting better, but it's more to do with me letting go of being annoyed at it as an adaptation.
Can I ask for a step-by-step guide? Because I'm still so angry about so many things.
I don't know.
Thank you for trying.
I don't know. It's like I just kind of realised it was just kind of fruitless. Like, it's a new adaptation. It's meant for a new audience. And the only real problem is that they, as far as I'm aware, they're still claiming it's part of the Prime timeline. And I went into the second season absolutely not even in my mind. I'm not even looking for continuity issues because I'm treating it as a new thing.
Yeah.
Like I've gone into it like that, and in the first episode, I just enjoyed. It's still, like, if you are looking for continuity errors, they're still there, of course. Like, I mean, hell, the fucking Enterprise is shown, and it's looks like it's got the same like view screen that's a window that everything else does, which is just weird. And the insides of it are incongruous with the 60s one, but that's pretty much obviously going to be the case.
I just won't be happy until the view screen opens up and it's a Ferengi at a really pulled-in shot and a weird angle going, God, you humans are so ugly.
Yes.
I'm not going to be happy until that happens.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's got a bit more levity about it, because that was, it feels like a bit more of an adventure, like just having a bit of fun with it, which the previous season didn't do much. Which was a problem with it, so it ended up being a bit dour. I do hope that they start interacting with the other crew a bit better, because the first season was all from Michael's perspective, really. That the show is about her, and it's her story, and it only focuses on other people to get you to the end point of that story. She's the point of view character. And I think that's going to continue, but the first season was there was loads of characters, like especially on the bridge crew, that you really wanted to know about, and they never got a personality because they weren't relevant. It wasn't relevant to give them a personality at any point in that story. Whereas I think they might be acknowledging that flaw, because in the first episode, they literally have a roll call of the entire bridge crew. So all those characters that you go, I can't remember their names, or they've never said their names. They all said their full name.
Sound off.
So it was a bit like, it almost feels a little bit like a soft reboot of it. The overarching plot is still, I'm still not a huge fan of the idea of Michael being Spock's sister, because obviously they're meeting up with the Enterprise pre-Kirk being in command, so Spock's still on board. Around. But I'm sort of on from the perspective that if they're going to have Spock having another secret sibling, because remember, Spock had another secret brother. He had a Cybok from one of the, what is it? Is it Undiscovered? It's not Undiscovered Country. It's Final Frontier. So Spock has two secret siblings at this point.
Maybe he's like collecting them like
Maybe.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
But if they're going to have that, at least do something with it. Like, if you're going to have this very fan-fiction-y
everyone's related
idea,
to someone important,
at least do something with it. Don't just have it as a thing that they barely touch upon and it's just sitting there niggling at the back of your head, which it kind of was in season 1. But yeah, so they're doing more with it, and so that's good. I'm behind that. And yeah. Also, as I feel I should point out, every Star Trek has had a bad first season, so it would be weird for me not to try and stick out with Discovery for a little bit longer. I think the only one that doesn't have a bad first season, or there's only two that don't have a bad first season, and that's TOS. And even then, I'd say season 2 is probably stronger. But it was establishing everything, and the animated series, and that's just because both seasons of the animated series are batshit nonsense constantly, and it's kind of impossible to call one of them bad or good because they're beyond such concepts.
I just remember there's like a satyr / the actual devil.
Oh, Lucian, yeah.
Who has a big hand that goes towards the screen
that's a
lot.
Perspective shot.
That is not a perspective shot. He has a big hand.
That's what they thought was a perspective
they
shot in the 60s.
They definitely thought it was a perspective shot, but apparently perspective wasn't invented until 1982.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, so I am obviously going to stick with Discovery, see where it goes. Strong start, though. We'll be very interested to see where we go. And interesting to see a new take on Pike as well. So,
He was the captain before Kirk, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was in the original pilot for Star Trek, and that footage was reused for, I think the original episode was called The Cage, and then they reused that footage for an episode later on called The Menagerie that was sort of canonised him.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think, Pike's also in the Star Trek new movies as well.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth, right?
Yeah, he's in that. Yeah, he's Chris Evans, yeah. Not Chris Evans, fucking
Chris
Chris
Hemsworth.
Pine.
Hemsworth, yeah.
Fuck, there's too many famous Chris's. Get a different name, y'all.
There are too many Chris's.
I mean, like, Chris Redfield's already taken the best name, so does everyone else has to change their name right now? I'm sorry.
They all just need to be given numbers.
Chris 1,
Chris
Chris
1.
2.
I did see that now with Chris Pine being in Enter the Spiderverse, someone was like, that's it, Marvel's got all the Chris's, and then someone did a picture of Thanos, but with all the Chris's faces
Yes,
in the
I saw
Infinity
that.
Gauntlet.
Like, well, that's it then.
But yeah, so going to carry on watching. Obviously, I'll have 2 episodes to talk about next week because you're not going to stop me talking about Star Trek. Whether you like it or not, it's happening.
I mean, I could try, but you always keep.
I'll just keep talking about it. So instead, I will pass over to our esteemed colleague, the drummer Matthew.
The Drummond
yes.
Matthew.
The Drummond Matthew. What have you been up to?
I've played a few video games. I have.
What?
I have 3 on my list.
Good
Are
lord.
we talking like Universal Paperclips, Minesweeper, or actual video games? She said, gatekeeperly.
Okay, they're all actual video games.
Cool. I mean, not that it matters. I was just being.
So last time I'm going to mention Stardew Valley. In that I've finished it now. But I've done. There's like 2 or 3 achievements left that I haven't got. 2 of them are for playing one of the arcade games and winning that, and then winning it without dying. And I just can't. I only tried like 3 times, and I don't really care.
You know, there's something that happens every time that we are both into a game. We'll promise that we'll play together, and then we never do, and then you finish it, and then never play it again. You're like, it's fine.
I'm still happy to play it. I'll show you my
Oh,
phone.
no. I'm just saying, it's like,
But, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we'll do that. And then the next podcast.
And then we never
like,
do, because we're
Yeah.
always super busy and terrible.
And the only other thing I think I haven't done is I haven't collected all the artifacts because you have to just randomly find them, and I just can't be
Yeah,
bothered.
they're tricky. I'm still
Like,
looking for a dinosaur egg, and
I've got.
so tired.
I don't know if I can possibly give you one.
I don't think so.
I think I've got a couple. But so I haven't hatched the dinosaur, and I haven't found all the other artifacts. But I've done everything else. I've shipped everything, caught all the fish, earned 10 million farming books or whatever they are. So for the secret achievement for getting all of them, and yeah, very good game.
Did you find the magnifying glass?
Oh yeah.
Did you
like
find
80
out
hours
all,
ago.
all the special
Yeah,
things? Like,
all of the got all the notes, and I've done all of the things that the secret
oh, good.
notes.
Because
intact.
I did one where you go down near a bush, near the bridge, near the bottom of the town, at like 2 a.m, and people jump out of it.
Yeah.
And you're like,
There's a couple
fucking.
of quests related to that as well, and various things.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I've done all those secrets. There's various. There's like the last. You can find books when you dig up artifacts. Some of them are books.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is a code, and you have to like put certain items in certain places and get 3 properly freaky statues out. So they're in my kids' room. That's where
Obviously.
They're in the kids' room. Have you
Yeah.
had kids?
Yeah, I got 2 kids.
I haven't. Like, Shane keeps turning to me in the middle of the night going, Snipe, should we have a baby? And I'm like, go to sleep, Shane. Please go to sleep.
You can send them off again. You can turn your babies into birds and tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, but that's like really sinister.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like because I think
And more importantly, weird as fuck.
that is super weird.
Yeah, I think the witch does it. So yeah, that's
Yeah, like
A witch did it is not a good excuse, Matthew.
a witch turned my child into a bird, so my family can
it's
be
okay.
happy
You can
again.
you can make your partner forget you ever existed, so it's fine.
Yeah, you literally can wipe their memory. God, it is so fucking sinister.
That is
Yeah,
so
because if you
messed
just
up.
break up with them, they're bitter and don't like you
They
anymore.
hate
so
you,
you
yeah.
so you just make them forget. It's fine.
That is
dear.
some eternal sunshine of the.
But anyway,
spotless
okay,
mind
I
of
haven't
bullshit.
okay, I haven't done that yet. So there's a couple of things, but only because I really don't want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that either. It's terrific. It's the worst. I just want to keep telling Shane no when he wants to have a baby.
So moving on, I played turned out to be a couple of games because the first game I played is a little indie game called What Never Was.
Okay.
And I really liked the look of it, and it's just a little quick sort of walking simulator / puzzle game. There's a couple of little puzzles in it. And it's just set in, you go to your granddad's attic after he's died, and you just have to, like, find out what he's been up to.
Oh.
Not in a finding, like, weird gimp suits in there. You just, like...
Yeah, I remember, we know a person that happened to.
Yeah.
Oh, Grandpops died. Let's go clean that. Oh, he literally was into shiny vinyl and gimp suits and ball gags.
Go Grandpa,
paddles.
I guess.
Not like that. And I just thought it'd be quite... And it's really pretty, and it's really well voice acted, especially for, like, an indie game. Like, because usually indie games are notoriously bad quite often. Which is expected, fine, because they've not got much budget.
Oh, no, my grandpa's paddle for his ass.
Again, nothing like that. And I really enjoyed it for all of about 47 seconds it took to finish the game. And I was like, oh, is that... There's basically, like, 2 puzzles, and you solve them, like, without really thinking about it, and then it finishes. And I was like, oh. So I was really ready to be like, oh, this is really cool. And then it kind of just stops.
And then just ends.
Does it cost money?
No, it's free.
Oh,
so
well, then.
it's fine.
Then it's fine.
And it's like, despite it only being like, it's less than a gig, I can't remember how big it is, but despite it being very small file size, I finished it in less time than it took to download it. I think.
Well,
it is partially a reflection on my internet speed.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
But I would recommend it if you just want something to do for 5 minutes. But
honestly, I quite like those kind of short little experiences.
But it was alarming, even though I was expecting it to be short for how small the file size is and everything. It was still somehow alarmingly short.
47.
But it was quite good fun. There's puzzles aren't exactly hard to deal with, but I don't know. It's quite pretty, and there's some funny bits, and it's quite. If you just want something that takes you 5 minutes to download, takes you 5 minutes to play, just to fill a 10-minute gap, I'd recommend it.
Okay, cool.
And then I got into something meatier. So I've been playing Just Cause 3.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I played the second one. This was... I can't remember when it came out or whether I played it close to coming out, but it was probably close to 8-10 years ago, which is presumably similar to when it came out. I was still at university, and that was many years ago.
Because how old are you now? 63?
Approximately.
Yeah, approximately 63 years old.
And I remember just quite enjoying it, and it just being quite fun. Like, it's not clever. It's not... You just
big
go around
fun.
blowing stuff up and grappling hooking onto jet planes and exploding things. But I remember quite enjoying it for what it was. But 3, have you guys played it?
Nah.
Oh, no, I haven't played it.
I've seen people like attach hooks to cows and stuff.
Yeah, it's just kind of a
interesting.
It's just kind of a clusterfuck.
They kind of went a bit too extreme with the silliness.
Yeah, it's sort of... I can repeat a lot of what you were saying about Watch Dogs. It's very... Despite it being silly and it should be really fun, it's somehow just really bland. Like, there's sequences and like missions where you have to like grappling hook onto missiles but like it's somehow kind of boring.
I find that I think Just Cause as a series has aged significantly worse than a lot of its contemporaries. And it's sort of doing the same thing. And personally, I feel that sort of anarchic sandbox thing was done way better by Saints Row.
Saints Row the Third did it perfectly, I think.
Yeah, Saints Row the Third's my favourite one.
Because it had such a consistent tone, but it was also fresh and funny. And there was like a genuine glee in just destruction and just being stupid.
And like, because I've played a fair bit of Just Cause 2, but I did find like it's in some way made destruction tedious.
Yeah, and like there's a few bits. So this is one. I've got a few list of points I want to say, but yeah, related to that, there's when you go and like liberate a town or a place, you have to like go and do enough damage to various things to kick out the bad dictator and bring in the rebellion guys or whatever.
I thought you were going to say kick out the bad dictator and bring in the good one.
I mean, I imagine that will be that seems like the really obvious twist that they'll go for halfway through. I imagine. I don't know. But there's a bit where to like liberate police stations, you go in and you just have to. You have to press a button on the door to open the door, and let the rebels in, and then you just have to cause a certain amount of destruction within the grounds of the thing. But like on multiple occasions, I've killed everyone there, but then there's nothing else to kill. So you're just stuck on this destruction meter being like
dare you
halfway
be too
done.
efficient.
And you're stood there and the music's still dramatic and everything's still dramatic, but there's just no baddies. And you're like, what? So you have to like leave and go and do something else somewhere else to get like wanted status. And then go back to the police station. And then literally they'll park outside. You have to grappling hook their vehicles into the ground of the police thing, because if you blow them up outside, it doesn't count. And it's like, it's so tedious. And it's just like, oh my, why did they think this was a good idea? It's just, they like tried to do it the most boring way possible.
They couldn't have had like an infinite spawn until your meter was full. They could have done something like that.
And killing people doesn't seem to like, it either doesn't increase it or it increases it really slowly. So you've got to get to a high enough wanted level that they bring in vehicles and helicopters or whatever. But
grappling vehicles into the fucking like zone.
I mean, it doesn't. It starts off on a bad foot, right? So you load up the game and it goes through the the sort of title sequences for Square Enix published it and Avalanche made it, I think. So it comes up with the splash screens, and then it comes up with like you're seeing Rico, the main guy, sat on a beach with like a glass of whiskey or something, and you're seeing his back and he's staring off into the sea, and it says like. And it's slowly, like, it says, I can't remember which way around it is, but it either says Square Enix or Avalanche on, like, a jumper hanging over the back of his chair. And he, like, slowly grabs that and pulls that off and it reveals the other logo. And then the Just Cause logo slowly appears in the sky. And then you're sat there, just with him sort of sat there having a few sips or whatever. And I was like, okay, this is, an interesting way to show off, to, like, whatever, fine. But you can't skip it. But I was like, it's the first time, whatever. But no, you can never skip that. You just have to sit there for, like 30 seconds while it just the Just Cause 3 logo fades in really slowly. And then, just when you thought it's fucking ridiculous enough, like, it comes up, logging into the online service. And then it's, the screen goes grey with, like, a login in thing in there, and you have to sit there for another 30 seconds while it logs in. And you're just like, why? And you have to sit there for so long to get into the game. And it's just like, this... And yeah, the online thing as well. So not even... Like, it takes ages to get into it, and then it doesn't add anything to the gameplay apart from where you're just driving around and suddenly it comes up with a thing. Some random user has beat your record for this. Like,
good.
I don't care in any And I've tried to... First of all, I went into the Windows firewall settings and tried to, like, I unclicked the allow thing from the rule. And now you play the game, it just re-adds itself to the allow list.
Oh.
So you're like... If this game could do that, that means a virus or whatever can do it.
To be fair, Windows Firewall is literally dog shit garbage that basically bricked our previous machine.
But it's supposed to at least work.
It's supposed to at least do something.
But you can't seem to. And then so I went in and I took the allow thing off that, and then added in a specific rule to not allow this program to get on the internet. And that doesn't stop it either. It still just logs in and just takes ages.
And to be fair, if you did stop it from connecting to the internet, it probably wouldn't let you play it unless you were online.
Well, there is an offline load, so occasionally it just shits itself and says, it like pauses and then goes, reattempting login for no. This is before I tried to remove it because it was just too annoying. Reconnecting login, and then it took like 30 seconds and goes, it can't log in. Do you want to do it on offline mode? And you press yes, and that fixes your problems for the next 5 minutes until it reattempts again. But I don't even know what it's logging into. I've never signed up to a Just Cause account or anything. It's the first time I loaded up the game, it says logging in. So if it's presumably just logging into like connecting to Steam or something that I'm already... Because I'm running it through Steam, so it's
It'll be some kind of anti-piracy service.
But I've never created an account, so what's it logging into?
One quick question, Matt.
Yeah.
When you're talking about online features, does it have like full-blown multiplayer, or is it just...
I have literally no idea.
Is it just this comparing you to other people for no good reason?
I haven't seen any multiplayer, or it hasn't asked me to do anything with multiplayer. Usually, if they've got weird multiplayer things, it pesters you all the time.
Because obviously, like, there was the big multiplayer mod for Just Cause 2. The one that we did a video on and then had to constantly be censoring the chat box because...
everyone is a racist shithead.
Apparently so. So, yeah...
but I don't know. It might have, but I mean.
So I'm guessing you're having some quite negative thoughts about this video game.
Just all these things like put you in and there's a couple of other just quick bits. He's like, I don't know who anyone is. Like there's the story, and you go in and meeting all these people, and I don't know if they're expecting you to remember from the previous game, but I don't, and it doesn't try and remind you.
God.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't care about any of these people. They're just random people.
Is Rico the same character as the guy in the second one?
Yeah, it's been the same main character all the way through.
I didn't know, because he's changed visually quite a bit.
And then, like, my last point, it's just kind of bad. Like, you're just driving around and then something, like, it goes, enemy helicopter destroyed, this many chaos points. And you're like, hang on, what? I'm just driving somewhere. And then it goes, oh, the police are after you. And you're like, but what's happening? And things just blow up for no reason. And then, like, sometimes things just disappear, like, clip out. Like, they're like, oh, that's a cool, like, military boat. I can steal that and do some damage with it. And you halfway through degliding there, and then it just vanishes.
It's a stealth boat, that's why.
It's just, on top of everything, it's just really badly made.
Honestly, when it was released, it was in a really bad place. I think that ended up with like a mostly negative sort of thing on Steam because of how bad the launch was.
Like Just Cause 2, I remember when I was at Games Dev at college, that at the time was the biggest map in any game.
Oh yeah, it's fucking huge.
It was fucking huge. We did this big fucking report on how it was huge and how comparing it to like GTA and other open worlds and how this was the
was that in the phase of gaming where the bigger your map is, the better your game is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, that was during the phase of the greyer and browner everything is, the more serious and good your game is. Which is why we're getting out of it.
Which is why I think Just Cause 2 really stood out, because it was a lush tropical area. Yeah. Granted, it was mostly just lush green tropical areas.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's kind of like, oh yeah, this is absolutely huge game area. Yes, that's true, but it's like that album that Metallica put out with no solos. It's featureless and boring and large for the sake of it.
You mean Santanga?
Yeah. So it was literally just
timely critique there, guys.
Thank you. Thanks. Hi everyone. Welcome to the MisanthroPod.
I don't know if you've
local hot takes on current events that are actually happening right now.
I don't know if you've heard, but Metallica's album, Saint Anger.
It's Street Anger.
Is not quite as good as their previous work.
I mean, I don't know why I'm mocking you for that. Like, I'm just moaning about a game that's, I don't even know how old, but the fourth one is now out, so presumably it's at least a few years old.
It's a few years old.
So, yeah, I can't really... But yeah, it's just, I really wanted to enjoy it, because I really remember enjoying the second one.
I honestly find Just Cause is one of those series that I often feel like I should like a lot more than I do.
Just Cause.
It feels like a game I should enjoy, but I've tried numerous times to play 2. We have got 3 because of Humble Monthly, and
I know the month, because I had it downloading a while ago to be ready to play next, and after I started downloading it was the month, and it was just like, oh, by the way, this is now free, and I was like, I haven't paid for it recently, but I've definitely paid for it at some point, and now just to rub salt in the wound, I'm getting it free like, just before I go to play it.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So if anyone wants a copy of Just Cause 3, send an email to the podcast thing, and I'll give you the code, and you can inflict the suffering on yourself, because I have a free copy of it.
Just come up with a sexy nickname for Rico.
Yeah, best sexy nickname gets a free copy of the XXL version. I don't know what the difference is, but I don't care.
It's his penis!
Extra jiggle bones.
So yeah, it's
jiggle
just
boners everywhere.
I think it's just entertaining enough with that, and combined with the fact that I don't like to stop things once I've started playing them. It's just overrided all of the annoyances, so I've stuck at it for now. But yeah, I'm currently downloading the Sniper Elite 4. So as soon as that's done, in about 2 weeks on my internet connection, I'm just going to give up with this and move on to that.
We should definitely play some Sniper Elite 4 sometime.
Awesome.
I mean, we won't ever get to play it. It's a nice thought, isn't it?
Yeah. That's me for video games.
Okay.
The other thing on my list was Spider-Man, but we've done that. Oh, the other thing as well, we finally played a game of 8th 40k.
Oh yeah,
you did. You absolute nerds decided to play some Warhams.
Yeah, we did.
I realised after we hung up, we were on Skype for like 5 hours or something.
How many points did you guys go in with?
It was like 1,100.
Okay.
And 33.
Yeah, it was like a specific number.
Well, to be fair, I'm guessing you guys had pretty high points, low model count.
It was the exact... I was using the list that I played against you recently when you played your old Red list.
So a good handful of models at least.
Yeah. So now you've played like a proper full-size game of it. How do you feel about 8th edition?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Not least because we were playing on Tabletop Simulator, so I got to use a Storm Surge, which was fun because I don't own that because when I was last buying models, it didn't exist.
Yes.
So, and I haven't. Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm looking forward to moving back whenever that is, and getting back into it. Because yes, I would like one of these things because they're pretty ridiculous.
The amount of guns on those is ridiculous. Because I had I had an Imperial Knight, so having fights between those big things is very entertaining.
Knights are just the biggest hecking chonkers.
I
love them.
They are hecking chonkers, yes.
Hecking chonkers.
Yeah, they're quite satisfyingly visible from the entire battlefield, which is fun when you've got a shooty army.
Yeah.
When I played with Wib at Warhammer World the other day, I just tried to gear my knight towards getting to his intercessors that were just hiding on a piece of terrain like stupid little butts. And he just charged me with his knight, and it was the most epic fight ever, especially because I did 12 wounds in one attack to him.
Nice.
I was just like, yeah! I mean, he wrecked my poor knight. But it's okay, because like the rest of my army was just literally dreadnoughts.
Yeah, so they tore the knight down instantly after that. So.
Yeah. Feel bad for the Rogue Trader Dread, though.
My Rogue Trader Dread, he tried.
Was like, I want to be like my big brother.
In fairness, I think the Rogue Trader Dread did take like a ton of wounds off your knight as well, so he did good.
He did.
But yeah, I genuinely really like how having knights or knight equivalents walking around the battlefield works, because if both sides have got one, then they're gonna aim at each other because it makes sense to do so rather than to have them taking on other things.
It's
because
like a kaiju fight while the armies are on the ground. It's amazing.
Because they naturally settle into how they're supposed to work in the lore. Of they take down things of that sort of size.
It's so cool.
It's really cool.
Thus negating the point of either side having any of them. But,
yeah, but it's
that's
cool.
just a metaphor for war, right?
Well, yeah. But the thing is, whoever's got one left at the end, then they've suddenly got a fucking Lord of War lording it over the battle.
Lord of War.
Well, at this point, because their profiles of usually when they get less wounds, they get less good.
Yeah.
Like you're just limping along right at the end.
Well,
whereas technically you've got the whole model there, but I mean you got mine to the point because I managed to take down your knight before you took down my Storm Surge purely because I had a squad of. I had all the marker light shots on it, which for Tau is good.
Yes.
And then I just basically shot everything to all targeted that. So I took down that without hurting a single other model, basically, for quite a few rounds. And the Storm Surge was down to like 5 wounds, which is its lowest profile. So actually it was running around with it like ballistic skill of like 6 or 6+ or something terrible. And like basically no movement. And they're limping at that point, even if they're technically still there.
They're barely functional, just hobbling around. Yeah.
Should probably mention, because one thing that I've discovered playing a bunch of 8th is that my orcs are good, and I can use those, and my blood angels are hot garbage.
Marines are garbage, and horde armies are in.
Yeah, Marines don't seem to be doing super great this edition. As such, there's been a beta rule that's coming out, or has come out. You can use it now. Where Space Marines get to do their rapid fire, like 2-shot thing, even at long range if they haven't moved. Or if it's on a vehicle. So, like, a Stormbolter on a Rhino, for example, can always fire 4 shots, regardless of what range it's at.
Which is a pretty nice buff.
Yeah, I mean, if they're bad, I guess.
They are.
Because they do need a bit of a buff. That's interesting. I think the next time we play some games, we shall have to use that rule and see how it goes. Because I'm very intrigued. It only applies to Astartes and Heretic Astartes. So, like...
and bolter weapons. It applies to Astartes strictly with bolt weapons.
Oh yeah, I get you. So yeah, should be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, and we'll have to have another battle then. Although what I want to try is I want to do Dreadnought army versus like Crisis Suit and big mech army with like no troops. So that wouldn't really help with testing the bolter thing.
True. Yeah, I would quite like to run a test Knight army just to see how it goes. Because that does sound like it would be interesting to play.
But yeah, my overall thoughts on 8th is that it's good. I really like it. I think it's really well streamlined in that there's a couple of things where you're just like, oh, I'm not quite sure how this works. And then you look into it, like, for instance, with drones with Tau. Like, you buy them with the unit or with your character. I mean, you can buy a unit of them by themselves as well, but a lot of the time they come with that, and it's like, well, how does that work if, like, we were a bit confused to start with, where shooting into a unit that has drones, we're like, well, how do you know which toughness to use, whether you use the drone? And we're like, oh no, you know what? The answer is the simplest answer. After you put them down, they're just their own unit.
Yeah.
And there's just quite a few things where it's like, oh, I'm not sure how this works. It's like, oh, it's the most simple and obvious way. Oh yeah, that's just how it works, and that solves all the problems. And there seems to be quite a few things like that.
Yeah, I find the rules of 8th are, for the most part, written really well to, like, really tightly tell you quite explicitly how certain things work. And quite often when you have a problem with the rules, it's because you kind of read them and you interpreted meaning onto them rather than, like, reading it properly. And then when you read it properly, you go, oh, okay, that's why I was misunderstanding. Obviously, there's some things that are still, it's not perfect. Obviously, nothing is. But, like,
Well,
it does a
when
pretty good job.
Rules.
It does certainly a better job than previous editions in that regard, I feel, anyway.
Yeah, it's good. And that's because, like, the last time I played properly was, like, actually into it was 5th. I mean, I played maybe 1 or 2 games of 6th, and I don't think I played a game of 7th. So to get me back into, like, playing and being like, okay, actually, yeah, I like this, it's good, I think. Because 5th, I think, was fairly regarded as a fairly solid edition.
Yeah.
5th was good, but I like 8th because of how streamlined it is. It makes playing a game so much easier, so you're not constantly having to refer to your fucking rulebook or your codex. It's just a lot more smooth. Yeah,
and I like that my tanks and my crisis suits and things can just shoot all of their weapons all the time at anyone.
I dislike that.
Yes.
But same with your dreadnoughts. Your dreadnoughts can wander around and shoot everything at anyone.
Okie dokie. I guess then, Snipe. What have you been up to?
So many things.
So many.
So I've got a few things to talk about. Thought I'd continue with RE Revelations.
Yes,
because I played a lot more of that. I've not played anything off stream because that's kind of the game we're streaming right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much last stream I left it about probably less than an hour away from the end of it.
But I really needed to go to bed.
I know you were tired, so I don't mind. I enjoy it. It's good. Has some really annoying old school Resident Evil problems with it though, like the whole getting like, you need to get to this thing, but everything's gonna spawn in really tight corridors and just fucking shred you, and you don't really know what to do.
There was that bit where you were having to escape the woman who is a zombie but has her tits out for some reason.
Oh yeah, Rachel, where she's just like, I'm a titty zombie, and I'm like, aren't we better than this as a species?
No, absolutely not. Apparently.
Even for Capcom, it's like, look, you want to have like Jessica wandering around like a fuckwit, okay, but when there's a woman there who's covered in gore, and you're kind of it's a bit sexualizing violence. It's a bit gross.
She's what would happen if the torso given away with Dead Island Riptide was a character.
Yeah. I mean, that's not like a deal breaker for me, but I do kind of like cringe every time I see it, because it's just like, oh, come fucking on.
Yeah. But that section, because I remember watching you play that, and that just looked fucking tedious.
It was pretty tedious. Just Resident Evil has always had this kind of thing where there's one character who will keep, like, one monster that will just keep coming back. And just keep, like, in the first one, I don't think there was particularly one like that, if I can remember properly. But in the second one, there was, like, there was Mr. X on Leon's campaign, and just basically just constantly there all the time. Like, Nemesis was kind of peak Resident Evil, constantly being chased by one guy. Like, I mean, I kind of like what they did with Nemesis, but, like, that kind of thing. So it kind of makes sense that in Revelations, they'd have Rachel be that character. But she's not scary. She's really annoying.
What relevance does she have to the plot?
Oh, she was, the
remember.
Carrot Top guy.
Yeah.
That was, like, his partner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. Yeah. She's just there to be tit zombie or whatever. I like the concept of the under the water horrible boys. There's like these weird like clam things, the manta ray clams that jump up out of water at you when you're swimming, and they are so creepy.
Oh, like the dolphin cockroach things.
Oh, I hate those so much. Those are so creepy.
The design of the zombies, the deep sea
I'm
things-
like super scared of the sea.
Yeah, the design of the actual monsters in it, I genuinely really like.
It's some good stuff. If you kind of like put your thumb over Rachel and put your thumb over Jessica, it's design-wise pretty fucking rad.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Been enjoying that quite a lot. It's quite good. The designs are good. Again, excluding 2 characters. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to kind of seeing the end of it. I mean, I know how it ends because I played Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Yeah.
So I kind of had it spoiled for me. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to finishing that off. It was quite fun. And oh god, like, also, speaking of Resident Evil, at the time of recording, Resident Evil 2 Remake is out tomorrow.
Yes.
Which I didn't get around to playing the 30 minutes of gameplay because I thought that was a bit shitty. Because I saw a bunch of YouTubers complete that in 20 minutes.
Also, I heard it crash for a bunch of people on PC.
Yeah. So I was like, I didn't want to get into that. But I've heard good things. I've heard there's a couple of iffy kind of things, like grabby zombies are apparently quite frustrating. But apparently that's not a massive part of it. But apparently it does kind of redo a lot of stuff to do with Resident Evil 2, but in more of a modern vein. So like you don't have the shitty controls, because the controls were so shitty. So it's more kind of like a modern kind of game. Like, you know how Remake had, it was just like modern control, it wasn't tank controls, which was such a joy. But yeah, apparently it's a lot like that, and I'm really not sure whether to buy it. Because I'm like, it looks really cool, and I like Resident Evil. I think it's pretty good, I guess. It's alright. And I kind of want to, I do want to play it, but I'm like, is it too scary for me? Because like, I have come a long way in trying to not be afraid of like horror movies.
You have.
And horror media in general. I've been really working on myself for that. And I've gotten to a point where I can watch like horror movies on my own and stuff like that, and I'm relatively comfortable doing that. Whereas playing horror games, like older Resident Evil games, I wouldn't say that they're really scary.
Not to play today, certainly.
No, I mean, like, Resident Evil 5 is my favourite Resident Evil, and that's not really scary.
No, not at all.
That's just tense. It's action horror. We were saying the other day, Resident Evil's been action horror longer than it's been survival horror.
Yeah.
So, I'm just kind of sitting there going, well, I didn't play Resident Evil 7 because I'm not really into first-person horror experiences. That's too much for me at the moment. Whereas, like, this one, I'm really kind of torn up about it. I don't know which one.
Whether to go for it.
I don't know whether to go for it. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of like, eh. But it's like, if I get it and I spend like 50 quid on it and I don't play it, I'm going to hate myself so much. So it's a bit of a tricky one. But yeah, no. I'm hoping it's good, and hopefully a month down the line there'll be a really good sale on it. And I'll be able to get it for not anywhere near as expensive. Because if you get like the fancy version, which I hate the games industry so much. But if you get like the fancy, more expensive version, you get like the Samurai Edge. It's like Chris's like handgun, and you get like Jill's handgun, and I'm like, oh.
What are these things?
Handguns.
Say things as if it's someone who's never played Resident Evil 2.
Shiny guns that reek of nostalgia that are probably like way better stat-wise in-game than the normal guns that you
these are in-game weapons you get?
In-game
so
weapons.
these are guns from the Resident Evil 2, like the base version?
No, the Samurai Edge is from is Chris's handgun. And you get Jill's handgun.
So what's that from then?
Resident Evil 1.
Yeah, we don't know. We have no idea.
Okay, sorry. I forgot you guys weren't cool like me.
I cannot stand early Resident Evil at all.
That's fair.
So
it's just too scary and like well voice acted, honestly.
So you get weapons from the first game in the second game?
Yes.
Yes, okay, cool.
But I don't think they'll be as low poly as they were, although that would be amazing.
If they were, that would be
amazing.
Amazing. A bit like when you have the camo for Snake in Metal Gear 4, where it's...
his head is just the MGS1 Snake. Yeah. That would be cool. But yeah, no, so I'm pretty torn between, like, should I, shouldn't I? But hopefully I'll just figure it out. But yeah, that's the amount of video games I've played.
Okay.
I have 2 more things to talk about.
Okay.
I'm gonna go... I'm gonna do the happy one first.
Okay.
So, people, if they're really eagle-eyed, they might notice that I'm kind of a fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's okay for now. It's fine. And I've been kind of like low-key paddying because I want to see season 5, because season 5 is out and I have to wait until like March to get it on Netflix, and which is ridiculous because by that time season 6 will have completed a full run. And I'm already getting like loads of spoilers. So I got really cranky one night and I took a bunch of like bits and stuff I earned from a stream and I just bought the box set 1 to 5. And that was such an amazingly good purchase for me. I watched the entire season in like 2 days and it was so fucking thoroughly enjoyable. It was tonally quite a bit different from the other ones in the way that there was some more serious moments. It was a bit more of an attention to actual character design and character development rather than just everything having to rely on a joke. There was like kind of how do I explain it? It wasn't as chock full of like jokes, and it was a little bit more realistic with these characters are people, you know, they have a life to live and all that kind of stuff. So it was a bit more interesting. Also, Hitchcock and Scully are way more involved in this series, which I love. They're not just it's not just cut away to 2 gross old men and then just forget about them. That they actually get involved in the stories. And like there's one point where Rosa, who is I just want her to punch me in the face, she's amazing. Like Rosa is like complaining at Hitchcock and Scully for sitting on their asses all day, and they're like, "You think it's so easy? Why don't you join us?" And then like half of, like one of the I think it's like the secondary or tertiary story of that episode is Rosa trying to stay in the chair for as long as Hitchcock and Scully, and they're like, oh, like so someone mentions hot dogs and Rosa's like, oh, there's a hot dog stand outside, and they're like, no, I want hot dogs. And they're like, and Rosa just looks at them and goes, we can roll these chairs down to the parking lot. And they're like, you're damn right. And they all just start rolling towards the elevator, and it's just like, this is fucking great. It's so fun. And there is one episode which really does just not feel right, which is there's one where it brings up DC Parlov again, which is Terry's favourite author.
He's a stand-in for J.R.R. Tolkien.
He's a stand-in for J.R.R. Tolkien. And like that
not
episode...
J.R.R. Tolkien.
What J.R.R. Martin? Fucking George R.R. Martin.
George R.R. Martin.
He literally has the R.R. just because he's such a fan of Tolkien.
Yeah,
so
that's why I always get
him.
it mixed up, yeah.
What a jerk.
Although realistically, I suppose he's more really a mixture of all sort of fantasy writers.
He kind of is, yeah. So it's like you know, like when Parlov stuff was first introduced, it is kind of like a poking fun at like the super serious, humorless Lord of the Rings fans or the Song of Ice and Fire fans, and like it was just fun. Whereas this just feels like it's a fan fiction someone's written where it's constantly referencing older episodes because, hey, remember when we did that? We're still doing that because we're the same characters. It was just not good at all. Also, I could have gone without seeing what Kalar looks like, because the fact that he's just Legolas really kind of bugs me. Because I was like, no, I wanted him to be like a giant barbarian or something, but fine, sure. I wanted to be like Cohen the Barbarian. But yeah, it does suffer from a couple of like, hey, remember when we did this? And it's like, I'm not super into it, and it does bring a good few characters back that I'm like, well, this wasn't needed. But yeah, there's like one of my favorite episodes is just Jake and Holt interrogating a dentist who they know killed this guy, but he's
that one was great, right?
It's so good. It was like it wasn't even really that funny. It was just really well done, and there was a lot of kind of like it was a bit more serious than a usual Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode. But it was just so fucking entertaining and so well done. And everyone there is such a good actor. It was just great. I really had a lot of fun with it.
Now you just got to hold it in until you manage to get season 6.
Until like, I don't know, 2021, where I get season 6. But I'm probably just going to buy it.
Because like I watched because you're talking about them, I'm remembering them, but I watched most of these episodes more than a year ago.
How?
Because they came out in 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it not on your Netflix yet? Because
it's stupid and it's really upsetting, and it's doing it to personally spite me, obviously.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, no, I really like it, and I love there's a lot of changes that I really do enjoy, and like there's the episode where Rosa comes out as bisexual. I thought I honestly, there was a couple of moments where I was just tearing up because it was just so fucking real, and it's good. It's just good. I like it very much. Also, Danny Trejo is Rosa Diaz's dad, and that makes so much sense. I fucking love it. But yeah, so yeah, that's really good. I can't wait to buy the season 6 DVD for half the price of the box set I just bought. But it's gonna be good. Yeah. Then I have one last thing to talk about.
Would you mind if I did a little bit of an introduction to this?
Sure.
Just to frame it. So
I'm intrigued.
We obviously have a notepad file that's got what we have to talk about in the podcast in front of us. Shock horror. I know it might not seem like it, but there is a structure to this podcast.
We tend to bullet point the topics we want to cover.
And I wrote in what Snipe wanted to talk about here as the 2 minutes hate of Punisher season 2.
Okay.
2 minutes hate.
It's probably going to be...
Let me get my stopwatch. You've got 2 minutes.
Okay.
I do not.
It is going to be longer than 2 minutes, but...
It's not.
Motherfucker, you can't stop me.
I know you have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this.
I do.
But you are not fully through the series yet, so you are going to talk about it next week as well.
Yep.
So try and keep it as brief as possible.
Okay. Let me just kind of like mentally prepare a run-up so I can kind of bullet point this.
To lay a bit of groundwork, Snipe really likes the first season of The Punisher on the Netflix.
It's
on the Netflix.
The first season of the Punisher on Netflix is a borderline religious experience. It is amazing, beautifully written, characters fantastic. The acting is amazing. Even though you've got 2 kids in there, it's still fucking amazing. Like, no shade on kid actors, but like, as a rule, they're kids. Yeah. They've got other stuff to think about, so they tend not to be as fully committed as an adult. And the story was good. The violence was incredibly visceral, satisfying, and at times quite horrifying when it needed to be, and was displayed as such. It was beautiful. It was a gory, beautiful, screaming in that John Bernthal way that he do. Like that weird kind of like noise he makes where he sounds like an angry cow. A very scary angry cow.
He does sound like a malfunctioning piece of farm equipment.
I know. Don't say that about John Bernthal. Only I'm allowed to say that because we're friends in my head. But yeah, so I was quite looking forward to Punisher season 2. I could have happily... The story in the first season, it ended in a way that I felt was incredibly satisfying, and I didn't need a season 2. Because, honestly, I would have been happy it left at that. But, of course...
Yeah.
Entertainment being such that they literally have to drive everything in the ground that you love and basically just sit there and just scream in your face that everything is commodified and money and you don't care. And, like, nothing about you, matters to them.
Yeah.
As a rule of thumb. So it starts off about a year after the first season has ended, and Frank's moved on with his life. He's doing lots of sex with the bartender lady, like many sex. And
he did it at least once.
I don't know. The way it's shot looks like he literally was up all night with this woman, and Christ knows how she can walk. Especially all that pent-up, like, Frank aggression and, like...
Well, because as far as you're aware, he's not fucked since his wife died.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
it's been a while.
It's been a while. So, I'm sitting there going, I'm so proud of Frank. He's moving on, and I'm proud of him. In this season, there are 2 threads of... There are 2 enemies, really. So there's Billy Russo from the first season.
That's Jigsaw.
Jigsaw, which is... Like, Billy Russo is a separate character to Jigsaw in established canon. So they kind of, like, merge them, which is fun.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But, I mean, the amount of damage Frank did to him, you'd think... His face looks great.
Considering
he looks really good. He should not look that good. But, I mean, whatever. And then there's the Pilgrim, who is basically an ex-neo-Nazi, hyper-religious murderer. I can't really go any further than that, but he's basically a hitman that's going after this girl called Amy, or Rachel, or whatever the fuck, who is fine. She's supposed to be kind of the human element, but the series forgets that she exists for a good few episodes every now and again, and then just has to bring it back in and go, oh shit, do you remember her? Do you remember the girl that Frank was being all like fatherly to? Yeah, we forgot about her, lol, here she is. Characters just aren't behaving very sensibly. The story is not separated very well, so a lot of the time it will spend all the effort following, say, Russo and his recovery, and then Frank will literally just be off doing nothing. And then there'll be I'm making it sound a lot worse than it is. Like, initially, it's a lot more promising. But I've, like, episode 10, I think it was where it didn't just shit the bed, it kept shitting the bed to the point where there's more shit than bed. And it is just awful. That was one of the worst things, especially because, like, I've seen from the season 1 how good, like, they made the Punisher a 3-dimensional character. And then in this, they keep going, hey, like, Frank's like, maybe I don't want to keep killing everyone, but then I guess I gotta, sad face. And it's like, when your characters are sitting there saying that, you fucked up. I'm just gonna say. But yeah, like, episode 10 made me rage quit, and I haven't watched it since. And I gotta finish it off, because I gotta see how it is, but it started off okay, and I was happy enough with it. I knew it wouldn't be as good as the first season because that's a big fucking ask. And it just kind of slowly dropped off until episode 10, in which case, yeah, it just fucking lost it.
Because I've seen a couple of episodes here and there, and a lot
of it feels very padding.
And I've been like half watching it, like, because I'll be doing something and you'll be watching it in the same room, and I keep turning around and asking and going like, So these two storylines of like the Jigsaw Billy Russo thing and the Pilgrim Amy thing, have those two plot threads intersected at any point?
I mean, I think they just threw in Amy because they needed a human element of Frank. They needed a civilian element like they had with Micro in the first season. And the thing is, they're not using her at all. She's barely in a lot of episodes.
She's
and you're
just,
like, okay.
It feels like they go, like, at some point those two stories are going to intersect, but at the point that you're at...
This feels like it's spinning its wheels.
They feel like two completely unrelated things that are never going to have anything to do with one another, and you kind of got to at least give some impression that they have some relevance to each other.
Yeah, it's...
Because otherwise, yeah, you're just going, why is half the episode given to this thing that's not related to the story that the episode's about?
Yeah, it's a bit fragmented. So, I mean, I hope it'll pick up. I mean, the episode I'm about to watch has got Karen Page in it, because they had to bring poor Deborah Ann Wall into it, didn't they? I already feel bad for all my babes sitting there. But no, it's like, I'm going to watch the rest of it. I hope it gets better, because, yeah, it's kind of just jumped off a cliff with episode 10. And I'm like, please, I would have been happy with, yeah, it's all right. You know, I didn't expect something amazing. I expected something that would have been like, it's not necessary, but it was a fun enough experience. And that's not really what it's turning out to be. Yeah. Which is a little bit disappointing, but I mean...
Honestly, I've seen that from a lot of people saying that... I mean, so many people have given up, like, early on.
Well, I mean, Matt McMuscle's a famous Punisher fan, and he was like, yeah, I watched, like, episode 1 or 2, and then I'm just done. And I'm like, and that's when it was still pretty decent.
that's when the show's at its best.
Yeah. So. But yeah, it's, yeah. I think I'll just go back and watch season 1 again and pretend season 2 doesn't exist. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically all I've done. Thank you for listening.
And you know what? It wasn't 2 minutes, but well done for that not being a half-hour rant.
It was about 6 minutes.
You did well there. Well done.
Thank you. I tried super hard.
I'm sure by the time you get to the end of it, and
I will have a fucking video essay on that binge.
But yeah, so I guess that means we should move on to questions.
The questions.
Ah, yes, we have a few.
Okay, and where should those questions be sent to? If someone wishes to send us a question. Snipe?
Fuck. Knew you'd do this. Only drummer Matt at snipeandwib@gmail.com.
That is right. At onlydrummermatt at snipeandwib@gmail.com.
Oh, yeah.
See, I'm not above saying it. I'm not above saying it. Yeah. I'll get down in the trenches with you guys.
I mean, yeah, to make sure that we're the ones covered in shit.
So, what questions do we have?
Jumbo bum.
So we have, first up, Walker Rollins.
Hello.
We have, as a continuation from the 69th episode.
Yes.
You meant to say nice, but you tried.
I did not, actually.
You didn't. No,
I
you
didn't
were
even
rubbish.
fuck.
I
was
left
like,
a gap on purpose and you were terrible.
Nice.
So we've got a fuck, marry, kill.
Cool.
Okay.
So between, and judging from the pictures, these are 40k characters that I totally know who they are.
Oh, yeah, of course. We all do.
Subdomina Kefra, Forstinius, and Scaevola.
Okay.
Okay. So, do you want to go first, Wiblet?
I can go first since these are characters from Mechanicus, and I'm the only one that's played Mechanicus.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to put the kill to Scaevola because he's a twat.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that too.
I will have to. Ooh.
Think of all the attachments.
I've got to think about this. So, I think
About the attachments.
Well, I literally heard the clock ticking in between that two.
So the thing is, Faustinius, he knows, he understands that emotions are a thing other people have, so he works around that.
So he has some empathy.
So he has empathy, but it's like a detached thing. So do you think I think that would be better for someone to fuck than someone to marry?
Well, I don't know.
So I think the empathy is important in a long-term relationship.
I think it is, yeah.
So whilst he has it, it's detached. So I think I'm going to have to fuck Faustinius and marry Kepra. I think that's how I'm going to have to do it.
Okay, cool.
That's mine. What do you guys go? Of course, you guys haven't played the game, so you'll be going off their startling good looks.
Yeah. Drama butt, what about you?
Well, I mean, they all look like the same person. So
They do a
can I
bit.
just fuck all three of them?
You can fuck all three of them, marry all three of them, and then kill all three of them.
No, just the first.
That's not how we play the game, man.
All right. I don't know. Based just on their pictures. Oh, they're all so similar. It's hard to tell without knowing their personalities. I'm going to have to defer to Wib's great judgment on the personalities.
This is, of course, if I'm remembering
degree.
the characters and their characterizations correctly from a game I played several weeks ago.
This is true.
Yeah,
what
do you think,
And
Snipe?
agree with Wib.
I'm just going to have to kill Scaevola. Because he's a bit of a dick. Don't like the way he's staring at me, quite frankly.
He's looking deep into your
I
eyes.
don't like it. It's weird. I think I'll marry Faustinius.
Okay.
Because, I'll have emotions and he'll be like, yes, let me turn on my emotions. I understand your emotions. And then he'd turn them off again and I'd feel validated, so... But yeah, so I guess I'd fuck Kepra.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
I will say, small point, I absolutely love the drawings that they used to represent these characters.
Pretty cool.
Because they're like slightly stylized. And just, me speaking as an artist... I really fucking appreciate how they look.
They do look cool. They have a nice
I look
style.
at them and I go, "Oh, I want to be able to draw like that. Oh my god, looks so good."
You look at them and get mad bonus.
Yeah, I look at them and get annoyed because I can't draw that well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there we go. There we go. What's the next one?
Okay, so next up, Bloodwolf Koji
Hello.
has sent through another fuck, my kill. In fact, there's one for each of us.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
for this,
okay.
although I'm sure we can all answer all of them. But so the one directed towards you, Snipe.
Okay.
Lucas the Trickster,
Alright.
Ragnar Blackmane,
Okay.
Bjorn the Fell-Handed.
Ooh. Is he Dreadnought Bjorn?
I think he can be.
I think since you're looking at them, the other two are from the present day, quote unquote present day of 40k. I think it's safe to say he would be Dreadnought and Bjorn.
Okay. So I'm just gonna kill Lucas. Because I can't sleep with him because God knows what he has.
I mean,
That whole, before
okay.
I came into Stardews, I bed 12 women in one night. It's like, okay, either you've caught something, you've got like the clap, mate, or
he's got space clap.
space clap, or he's overdoing it so hard because he knows he's kind of okay or less than okay in bed.
You should probably read the recent Lucas the Trickster
I'm not,
novel.
Is it just about pornogs?
They actually do a pretty good job of making him likable.
Yeah, no. I don't dislike him. Hell, like Longfang is basically just looks like him. So
A little bit, yeah.
So yeah, no offense, Longfang, but I gotta kill Lucas just because I don't want the space clap. I'd probably fuck Ragnar because maybe then we'd get a new model.
Maybe. You're gonna fuck it up.
I'm gonna fuck it up. See if I ruin his current model.
It's fine, Cass. It'll fall apart like nobody's business.
I married Bjorn because then I could wake him up and he'd be like a big sleepy bear and he'd tell me a story.
That's
and
fair.
that would be nice and romantic.
That's fair.
Oh. Okay.
Well, you guys want in on this?
No, I think we'll leave.
Yeah.
We'll do our own personal.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
ones,
That's cool.
yeah.
Okay. We're
Yes.
Gazcool Thraka,
Yep.
Inquisitor Greyfax,
Oh.
or Inquisitor Sherlock Clouseau.
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Well,
Gazcool is
I mean,
like,
I've got-
he's got that orc intelligence, so he would treat you right.
he would not.
He would. He'd be
would
a good
not.
husband.
He absolutely would not.
I think
you
he
want
would
you want to know how his long term
He'd rip you into 2 bits and then use you as a fleshlight.
Wow.
his long term companion Makari died because he sat on him.
Yeah, but he felt really bad about it.
He didn't really.
He did. In that story I wrote where he inserted him like as a suppository, he did.
That's a different thing entirely. So I will unfortunately have to kill Gazcool.
You can try.
I can try. It's probably not going to work, but I'd have to kill him. Now it's a real trick because I don't actually know that much about Greyfax because I haven't read anything with her in. I only
She
know
seems
her
cool.
from how she looks. Other than knowing that she's voiced by Catherine Tate in the in a new audiobook that's coming out next month, I
Pretty
believe.
cool, actually.
So I'm down to marry and kill with her and Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau, the best character in Warhammer 40,000.
The best character in Warhammer 40,000.
Who has the sexiest voice, I'm told, by me.
You just record him saying, "Oh yes, Webb, your balls are nice," and then just play it back to yourself and just like, "Ooh, I have to sit on my hands." So you're laughing and trying not to laugh.
The problem is, I need a bit of a build-up to do the voice, so I can't just like bust it out. Because I always get, whenever I try and do it off the cuff, I can never get it right. But I think, the point is, I don't think Obi-Wan's got too much to do. He's got too much saved in the Imperium. I don't think he'd be one for a long-term relationship. I think it'd just be too painful. So I'd have to marry Greyfax.
Yeah.
And then just have one brief, unbridled night of passion.
Violent evening of passion.
Yeah, just like the bed, the room, the city block.
We're talking vampire boning.
Yeah, like the entire Hive city is going to get toppled by the level of fuck that is
By
going to
how
happen
much he's topping you.
with Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau. So that's
The
yeah.
sexual Tyrannosaurus that is.
So fuck Obi-Wan, marry Greyfax, kill Gazcool.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Drumblebut? What you got?
What's your
So
choice?
for me, I have Commander Farsight,
Yeah.
Commander Shadowsun,
Ooh.
and Belisarius Call.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't entirely sure who he was, so I looked him up. Mr. Call. One of his descriptions on the wiki page: skittering into battle on a multitude of metal legs.
Yeah, but imagine where those legs could go.
Some of the other words in this, it's just in this one paragraph. We've got nightmare amalgam of flesh and machine,
Sounds pretty fucking hot to me.
obsessive, grotesque, lumpen.
Ooh. He's like a
And
dumpling.
he's old as fuck and looks grumpy, and I think I'm just gonna have to kill him.
But he gave us Primaris.
Yeah, which is great, but he not good for fucking.
He not
No,
good for fucking.
or marrying, I don't think.
No. Can
So-
you imagine being married to that guy? He'd just be constantly shouting at you and being like, "Listen here, female," or male in this case. He'd just be terrible.
But he could use those multitude of metal limbs to
Get the
make you
fuck out of Drummer Matt's house.
to make you a blasphemous morning pancake.
A blasphemous morning pancake.
The more unholy, the more hands used in the creation of pancakes, the more unholy the pancake
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That is a provable fact that you can look up on
I'm going
books Yeah.
I can look up on books.
You have to go to a library, though. Not ours, obviously. The Derby one's about to shut down. But you go to a library, find books, and it will tell you about pancake law.
They do have. You know, I'm actually going to bring up Google right the fuck now, just to prove you wrong.
You can look it up on books.
Pancake blasphemy.
You won't find it on Google. It's only on books.
Yeah, you have any idea how many PDFs have been scanned? You ain't shit.
Yeah, but not everyone.
Yeah, but this seems like it's going to be pretty
It's in that
important.
one book that hasn't been scanned, so you can't find it on the internet.
Okay, so this is like must include pancake.
Funnily enough, there's not many returns for pancake and blasphemy on Google.
The Book of Blasphemy. He looks at the ocean as flat as a pancake. That's why. Because that guy was all, I'm looking at the ocean, and it's just this delicious stack of flowery goodness.
So, Matthew, you're fuck, marry, kill. Do you want to maybe take us away from
Yeah,
this
so
place?
we've got Farsight and Shadow Sun.
Okay.
So for those who aren't overly familiar with the Tau, Farsight is the one who actually is half decent at combat and goes in with a sword, which may or may not be eating the souls of people that he kills. I think he knows, but I just think he's trying to not let himself believe it.
Yeah.
Because it's fairly awful. And Shadow Sun, I put the H in the right place, is the more stealthy. She's more going with what the Ethereals do, and Farsight's doing his own thing, and he's kind of a bit of a renegade.
Yeah.
So on that ground, I think he'd be the better fuck.
Oh yeah, because like he wouldn't stick to
got a
like
bit
the
of a-
rules.
He wouldn't
Yeah,
stick
he's
to the
got a bit
fuck
of a-
rules.
A bit
He'd
of
commit love
rogue
crimes.
streak.
He'd
Like,
commit
yeah.
love crimes.
Yeah,
What
I
love
think-
crimes are those?
Yeah, but
Like biting you on the bottom.
Yes, and he'd commit love crimes all over your body.
Oh.
Yeah, he'd stamp on me with his hoofs.
Do you just like being? Do you just like C and B torture with hooves? Is that just what you're after?
Just for a night. I don't think I could deal with it for forever.
Oh no,
So-
I'm no judgment here, dude. If you want to get your fun bags trampled, that's like your business, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, Farsight for fucking Shadow Sun for the marrying.
Okay, cool.
She's less likely to run away and hide from the from things, and I don't think I can be bothered for a life on the run.
That's fair. That's fair.
Aside from the hoofs.
Aside
yes.
from the hooves.
Just clumping all over your body.
All right, that's our fuck, marry, kills.
Okay, cool.
We have one final email, which is just a quick anime suggestion.
Cool.
Okay.
If it's Bible
It is-
Black, I'm banning you.
It is not. It's called Girls' Last Tour.
Okay.
Apparently, it's two young girls essentially driving around an abandoned hive city.
Oh.
Apparently,
Okay.
the music and the scenery are really good, and it will potentially make you cry.
Oh. I do cry too much at media, honestly. So.
Yeah, I'm getting that way as well. It's really bad. Well, no, it's not really bad. It's really good.
It's good, but it's like it's annoying
also-
to me because like
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with crying at media. I wish I was more
well, how about next
open
time?
with my emotions with that stuff.
Well, how about-
It's a bad thing. Don't let your feelings be trapped inside you. Let them out.
Okay.
It's healthy.
I do have this weird kind of thing of like, don't let your emotions out though. So it's difficult for me, and it makes me embarrassed. But I know I should. I should like not be like, because no one should ever be ashamed of crying at something.
Absolutely. There's nothing
So,
to be
yeah.
ashamed of about crying.
And next time we watch something sad, I'll pinch you on the nards really hard so you'll start crying. And then your body will start muscle memorying every time it sees something sad and just remembering the ball pinching and just start crying.
You'll have to do it every time for quite a while, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am
every time,
prepared
and
to.
then every time I see something sad, I
Or
involuntarily
something
grab at my genitals.
Or happy. Or happy, or just like you know, crying is just the body's like the emotional response for just an extreme version of one emotion. So like anytime you have you should be having an extreme one of emotion, I will just pinch your balls like really tightly, like just between my nails. It's like
Oh, coming up.
like right there. Sorry, drama. Are you gonna cry?
I think on that note of bollock pinching,
Yeah, ball pinching.
that should be where this podcast ends.
I mean,
It
what
definitely
in
should.
general or just this episode?
Well, yeah, MisanthroPod is over because too much cock and ball torture has been mentioned
Hey,
in
stop
too brief a
kink
time,
shaming me.
and all of it comes from you.
What?
You are the source of all of the cock and ball torture in this podcast.
Yeah, that's why people tune in. Tell them, everybody. Yeah, Snipe, we love the cockaball. See, look, that you can hear them.
This isn't going out live, dear.
Oh, it is.
No.
Surprise.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yes, I've been Snipe. He's been Whip, and he's been Drummer Butt. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.